Alright, hello everybody, Skyraid here, back again with another Diablo Immortal video. I'm gonna go over, since it has recycled, so to speak, the event of the Risk and Rally. Got this out of the way now. Of course, it says do it on normal. There's only one dungeon that so far that they added in the roster that you cannot do on normal because it was added much later in the game and it's much more further into the story. All you gotta do is just tack it up one difficulty and you can do it. If you were wondering why you would try to go and do it in normal and you couldn't even enter, it's because of that reason. It's the Tristram Cathedral was the one in question. You have to tick that one up one more difficulty off of normal in order to do it. That's the only one in the list for whatever reason. I'm surprised they actually put that one in, because the boss at the end can be fickle and sometimes can go into immune stages, even though we should be able to one-shot them throughout all their stages anyway. But it's a multi-stage boss. It's kind of irritating that way, and then sometimes they slip into their immune stage. Whether you would normally one-shot them or not, that's RNG. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Okay, so first we'll go over 5 tips here. General, around about 5 tips. All right, so start with the first one. We're gonna go make sure your beneficial effect durations, like in this case for me it's Sprite Spark. Sometimes, for whatever reason, with the game's spaghetti code, and I don't know why it does this, sometimes it desyncs, so to speak, and it's a little off from what you remember. And you're like, wait a minute, I had 100% uptime or what have you, and now I don't. What happened? Well, I've been told there's ways of fixing that, or a way of fixing it, that is. And you go to your Warband, you go to your Warband castle. All you gotta do is just enter it. Apparently that resolves the issue. So it'll help you resync yourself into the game by doing this. So just give that a go. And I just pop it just because, just to be like, all right, I'm here, I did the thing, and then I'll let me out. So there's basically tip number 1. That should help like resync, hopefully, your beneficial effect durations to where you remember them being. Don't know why they slip out that way. Like I said, it's a weird design flaw. It is what it is. We have to find our workarounds any way we can, and that's, I guess, one of them. All right, moving on to another Warband thing while we're still on that topic. Make sure you go to your room management, and make sure if you're the leader of your Warband, or not, at least be in contact with the lead of the Warband for the remnant selection, so that you can put in, want to choose Protector. Choose Protector, either one, it's fine. You're going solo, so you might as well just take the block chance one. Turn that on, and make sure you have the Shepherd's Burden Remnant in there, because it's going to increase your life and your size by a significant amount, 15% here in this one particular, because this is the rare piece. Now, what does that do? The bigger you are, the faster you move. It's weird. It's programmed that it actually works that way in the game. It's just how it is. I guess you have longer strides. That's the only thing that I could make out of that would make any sense. So there you go. But yeah, make sure you turn this on. So that is tip number 2. Let's see, tip number 3. Another thing that will give you a life and size increase. Go to Paragon. Go to your Paragon. Go to Brawler. And there's 2 that you really need. The other 3 are up to you. But you definitely want to take Rugged, which is your size and maximum life increased by 5%. This one's a little low compared to the Warband Remnant, but it'll still help nonetheless, so it'll stack on top of that. And then you have Combat Tricks. Heavy armor is active. Oh, actually, you need heavy armor too. So these 3, you need these 3 here. At least, at the very least. And I just took the other 2 just because they're pretty good anyway. Just for this. And well, actually, they're pretty good in other areas too, but take heavy armor, rugged, and combat tricks, because when heavy armor is active, you can move freely through enemies. This way, you're going to be one-shotting pretty much everything anyway through the thing, but if you get hung up at all, for whatever reason, if you get some rares in there and they got those annoying walls that they can spawn on you, or even the one boss I know does that, the first one at Mad King does that with the walls. So But I mean, again, you should be able to one-shot them. But sometimes you'll just get snagged, and this should help with that in instances like that. So there you go. That is tip number 3. Yes, we did. Yes, that's tip number 3. Tip number 4 is whatever dungeon you're going to, kind of have to plan it out. I mean, obviously, we've already covered, you know, have it on normal. That's a given now at this point. So, but I've already done this. I've already reset the thing. But anytime you go to a dungeon, if you haven't gone to one, or if it's the first time you're doing it for the day or what have you, since you logged in, you enter it one time. Then you have your little cutscene. That way you get that out of the way. Enter. I already did it, so I already flushed it, but just going to show, for instance, cutscene plays. Oh no, and then you skip, and then I just leave. I leave right away. Especially on PC. I don't know how it is on mobile, how the experience is with that, but any little bit like that's going to slow you down. And also, again, this is more of a PC thing. I think it might affect people on mobile, but I think it affects PC people more. The loading between instances in a dungeon. Like in this case, for this one, this is Tomb. Before you go the elevator, before you take the trip on the elevator, there's a loading screen in between that. Sometimes you want to run it through once at least to grease the tires, so to speak, on loading screens and get that initial load in. For whatever reason, the first initial load I found in a lot of things on PC in particular, it might be the same on mobile, let me know in the comments, or share amongst yourselves, but I know there's an initial loading time that you have to get through, and then after you do that one, for whatever reason, it goes way faster after that each time. So for whatever reason, you got to get that initial load in, like I said, grease the tires, and then you're good after that. So plan ahead, think about whatever dungeon you're going through, and fortunately not all of them are like that, but Tomb has one instance. Mad Kings has at least 2 different times it does loading, and it's irritating as hell, but what have you, it's fine. But like I said, that's a generalized tip. Might not always think of, but here we are. If you have, kudos. I'm just kind of putting these out here in a list of what you might not necessarily think of when running this and trying to help out with any way, shape, or form possible. That's number 4. That was number 4. All right, moving on. Number 5. And the last one here of everything. This is going to be more generalized, but it covers anything, obviously. I mean, this is obvious, but all the different sources that can give you speed and dash cooldown reductions, beneficial effect duration increases, all that stuff. There's a variety of things here. First, we'll go, the major one actually is, surprisingly enough, runes. And I see I don't have those in myself. I should try and see if I have them, but I probably don't. Where are they at? The ones that I found that really look tempting and tasty is this one here. For this specifically, movement speed increased by 3%. You can put that on the main hand. So you get 2 main hands, you can get 2 of these if you have them. If you have them. Don't try and grind for them now, because obviously it's going to take too long because this is RNG. But if you have them, that's the caveat here. Put them in, movement speed increase, there you go. That's a little bit there. This one here even, he's going through the legs, so it doesn't affect that slot. You can stack this one. Dash cooldown is reduced by 0.02 second, which may not seem like much, but if you're one-shotting everything while doing this when defeating a monster, there's other ones where you can defeat monsters and it'll get you a teleport back or that kind of thing. That's actually a wizard essence, I think. Then the other ones here that are pretty good, let's see, Ati and Tear. Tear's another good one because here it is. Beneficial effect duration increased 4.5%. If you are one of the lucky ones out there that got these to drop, there you go. Then these go in the head and shoulders, so none of those conflict with each other. Those would probably be the best ones to choose from if you are the lucky ones to have these, or if you've whaled out and you have platinum and you've already bought up these ones, there you go. That would be the way to go for the runes. And obviously, again, if not the yellows, at least try to see if you can get this one. I don't even know if I do. This would benefit me for this for sure if I did. Unfortunately, I probably don't. I still got a bunch of grays. My rune RNG has been absolutely terrible. But there's that one. And of course, if you happen to have, and I have one. It's not going to benefit me that much at all. If you have a bottled hope, of course, this would definitely be helpful here for more movement speed. So, any sources, of course, this is the generalized last tip here for everything. Just anything you can get with movement speed, like your set pieces here. That's going to give you movement speed. Your some of your legendaries you might have on gives beneficial effect duration increases. That kind of thing. So compile that all together. There's the 5 tips. Some things you may not have thought of, or you may already have. So kudos if you have. I'm just kind of rehashing them on the spot here. I'm going to go ahead and do my runs now and continue to push on with it. I'm pretty much doing the one and done run on this. I'm not really going all out. I'm just doing whatever. It's not that big a deal to me, really. Initially, it kind of was, but I was like, you know what? Nah. There's times when I got the same time as other people, and then we'd be locked in, like... And it's randomized how I get thrown into the rankings, which that kind of sucks when you have the same time. There was like 4 or 5 of us at one point that had the same time, and I got pushed all the way towards the bottom of that selection, and I'm like, why am I getting put last? And is it alphabetical? How does that work? I have no idea. It's whatever. Again, that's RNG as well, I suppose. But anyway, it's not that big a deal to me necessarily. I'll get whatever I get. Like I said, I run it one and done. Other ones are going to have, better runes, better movement speed gear, what have you. But yeah, that's why just stack as much as you got. Think about those other ones at the beginning. Hopefully those are ones you haven't thought of. And like with the Paragon and the Warband stuff and whatever else, all that movement speed stacking for because you're bigger. Because look at this. I mean, I'm just moving around. This is normal, just walking around with those on, those buffs. And it's significant already. So take that off and you can see the difference for yourselves. But anyway, there you go. Until next time, everybody, take care of yourselves out there in the real world and fire. Stay safe as best you can, one day at a time. It's all we can do. It's the best we can do, especially with how things are. Until next time, see ya.